Welcome to Tobi's Art Performed podcast. On this platform, Tobi will engage with various artists and consumers of art about their passions and interests. My name is Just May and I am a drag queen.
Hello and welcome to the 18th episode. I am your host Tobi. This episode features Pete May, whose drag persona, Just May, I saw in his documentary May Does Geri, where Pete attempts to meet Geri Halliwell for her 45th birthday. We engage with what this process meant to Pete and what Geri and the Spice Girls meant to him, and much more. Pete is now a full-time drag artist. You can find him on his Facebook page, which appears in the podcast show notes. On March the 1st, Just May will be performing at the Glory in East London. Also coming up is a performance evening at Lime Wharf on the 14th of February, called Goodbye London, This Dance Floor Isn't Here Anymore, where my friend Sebastian Hau-Walker is doing a performance along with many others that I don't yet know. For now, please enjoy.
So my film is called May Does Geri. It's a film that explores my obsession with Geri Halliwell of the Spice Girls, and as well as exploring my obsession with her, it also kind of goes into a lot of questions about modern queer identities and also kind of the influence that pop culture has on us as a whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that because what I got from I think I asked a question about it. What I got from the film itself was it was about not queer culture as a whole, but
my queer identity.
Yeah.
Well, I think that at the moment, I kind of think where my queer identity sits is quite a reflective thing of the community as a whole, because a lot of people don't really sit. I'm kind of speaking from like a very niche, like central that I sit in, but I think a lot of people kind of struggle with the idea of just being gay or lesbian or bisexual or transgender. Like, there's a lot of fluidity between it, and it's not just about gender. I think that fluidity sits with your sexuality as a whole as well. I mean, in the film I talk about how I don't actually identify as gay, I identify as queer, because actually there's a lot of issues around, personally I have a lot of issues around being seen as like a gay man, because actually what I do and how I live my life doesn't potentially reflect what it is to be a stereotypical gay man. So that's why I call myself queer.
Can you give me a kind of a rounded definition of what queer means? So I'm getting from you, it doesn't necessarily mean gay or lesbian.
Yeah.
So what does it mean?
I think it kind of encompasses a lot of things. So instead of it just being about who you're sexually attracted to, it's also how you present yourself on a daily, and kind of how, I don't want to say ostracized, but how like a very typical gay male culture, because I can't particularly speak for like queer females, but as a queer male, there's a lot of like lad culture that goes on within like gay men, like masculinity. I don't identify with it. I don't identify with, like, I present as male, but also I don't necessarily like to call myself male, but I'm not really fussed about gender pronouns or anything like that.
Right. But can I just ask you something? Observing the way you are at the moment, you're dressed in your amazing slippers, spotted slippers, trousers, Geri Halliwell t-shirt in a glory days, and also your fingernails.
Yeah.
So can you talk about the kind of mishmash of what you're wearing at the moment? Or is there anything to say about it?
Not really. Like, I kind of think that
because I've seen
on a daily, I think you kind of like.
So this is just casual wear.
Yeah,
just chilling out.
on a daily, you kind of go. I kind of just dress for comfort because with being a drag queen, you're to a certain degree uncomfortable for so much of the time that when I'm not in drag,
uncomfortable or comfortable?
Like uncomfortable because like the shoes,
of what you're wearing, and
like the constrictiveness, having to with what I do, like dancing around or walking around, and you like, yeah. So if I'm not in drag, I'm normally like trainers and trousers and t-shirts.
Yeah.
But also with it, I don't like wearing like stuffy boy shirts. Like if I'm wearing a shirt, it's going to be something that's quite flouncy or flowy, or like I really like leopard print. So if I'm not wearing Geri Halliwell t-shirts, it's generally leopard print.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of in my boy life, I think that it's very childlike slash soap opera bar lady is my aesthetic.
Okay, soap opera bar lady.
Soap opera
like Peggy
bar
Mitchell.
lady slash child. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Which I don't really know how much longer I can do that, because when you're approaching 30, how much longer can you dress as a child slash Peggy Mitchell?
So, but going back to the video, so it was presented as a kind of, was it her Geri Halliwell's 45th birthday?
It was her 45th birthday in August, so it was kind of my gift to her.
Yeah.
Not that she's seen it,
Right.
but Mel C asked to see it, so
wasn't there a picture of you with Mel C?
Yeah, I met Mel C.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And she asked. Well, I was dressed as Geri at the time, and she asked like, why, and I told her, and I was like, I'm obsessed with her. I've always been obsessed with her. But I think you asked something at the screening.
Yeah.
Like, am I obsessed with you or someone at the screening? Said, am I obsessed with her now, or am I in love with her now? And it's not that. It's very much I'm in love with, or I'm obsessed with Geri Halliwell as Ginger Spice.
Yeah.
In like the 1997 to 1996 to like 2002 era, like her as a person now, although I still love her and like follow it with precision, like it doesn't excite me as much.
Well, what I don't remember my exact question, but what I said was in a roundabout way that I asked, were you obsessed and kind of in love with Geri, or were you in love with what Geri meant to you as a person, as a young gay child, growing up and kind of seeing these images of girl power and stuff, and somehow it
I think like the
way it connected with you.
Someone else who was in the film, a guy called Joe Stone, said to me that the era of Geri that I was doing, or am doing at the minute, is very drag queen anyway. Like she basically was a drag queen, like over the top hair.
Yeah.
Like her makeup, it was very 90s, but like it was still, it wasn't like the other girls. Like she had like the really high arched eyebrows and like the big bold cheeks, and like she always wore the most outrageous out of the 5 of them.
Yes, of the. I mean, I wasn't particularly into the Spice Girls, but when I saw the Spice Girls, the only one I was interested in was Geri, and I was quite disappointed when she lost all the weight and stuff.
Yeah, thing is though, she wasn't. I think there was a weird thing with it that she actually wasn't that big when she was in the Spice Girls, but
wasn't she?
No, she was because.
I mean, she wasn't huge. She was.
No. She was like, I think she was only like a 8 or 10.
Okay.
But because the other girls were
so
smaller,
thin,
and also she had massive boobs, it made her look like the biggest one.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, when she did lose all the weight and turned into Yogi Geri, it was a massive,
completely different
step. And I still I was still in love with her at that point. Not as much because I think I was about 12, 13.
Yeah.
And trying to be cool at school, and you'd be like, "Oh, what, Geri Halliwell? Oh no, yeah, I'm not into that." And then go home being like, "It's raining men."
So that actually kind of moves me on to a different question. So, okay, you engage with this if you want to. When did you come out as gay?
I think I was about 15.
Right. Okay.
But it wasn't really like I never really had to. Like, I'm pretty gay. Like,
well, there's you know of David Hoyle.
Mm.
I saw a video of him being interviewed by a couple of his friends, and he was talking about his growing up as a young gay boy in Manchester, and he said basically some of us can't hide who we are. We are just. Well, that's basically what he said. That was the end of that conversation. Some of us can't hide who we are.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Like, I never tried to. I never wanted to. I don't think I'd be doing what I do now, if I was ashamed of what I am, or if I couldn't hide it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's cool. So, in terms of the drag, I'm finding it quite interesting engaging with people. Like I said to you earlier on, I interviewed Tommy Poppers, and also I've interviewed recently, I don't know if you know of them, the Istanbul Queer Art Collective. They specifically have a very clear idea that they are doing performance art. I've seen a couple of videos of your performances. Now, I have my own opinions about performance art and drag acts.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see yourself in terms of... Do you see it as a performance art? Or?
See, it's very hard because I did my degree in fine art.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was doing drag
that's another
then.
10 questions.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that.
I was doing drag then. So I had this other character. I've always been... Everything I do, it's about obsession.
Right.
So when I was at uni, I made this character called Dolly. And she was based on this whole manifestation of ideas of gender and identity and like all of these things. And I put it was very young, it was very naive, and I put all of this stuff onto it and made a character for 4 years. And I'd made all this work that I made about them. And then I stopped making art for about a year and a half, for various reasons. And then when I came back, when I moved to London, I just fell in with the right people and I started doing drag again. And it was a different kind of drag. Like, it wasn't what I was doing as Dolly, because what I was doing as Dolly was masked, and it was very unhuman.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't presenting as a woman. It was like a female character rather than a female person. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, with that, it was when I started doing drag as kind of as I do now. It was very different, but it was all very, like, I never really gelled with what I was doing because it was just these odd gigs that I do, and I'd always have red hair, and it was kind of a thing that I did. But I was trying to be characters that I didn't really click with, and then there was just some. Actually, no, it was the whole Geri thing started at a friend's birthday party, and it was a 90s birthday party, and two friends showed up, and they had bought me something. It was a Union Jack dress, because everyone knows that I've always been obsessed with Spice Girls. So they bought me this, and I put it on, tried it. I was like, oh my god, this is great. Love Geri. Oh my god, I'm like Geri Halliwell. This is perfect. And then just slowly I started doing little bits as her, and like the odd Spice Girls number, and like, yeah, it just snowballed from there. But back to your question anyway, sorry. I think if I just did like the lip sync numbers and showing up to bars and hosting gigs and things like that, then it's performance art, but it's not. I'm not a performance artist. I'm a drag artist. I think because of the way I do it and the extra things I do, so like the film, and I've got another film that I'm doing this year.
Cool.
And I'm writing a show at the moment. I think because of those extra things that I do and I'm adapting into my work, that makes me a performance artist.
But you don't consider the drag that you do as performance art?
It's performance art because it's art that is performed.
Right.
But it doesn't make me a performance artist. It makes me a drag artist.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because in my head, I think of performance artists like they've not adapted a character as much as such, I guess. But there's a lot of performance artists that perhaps do adapt characters and make work as them, but then they'll finish it and move on. But I think but being a drag artist is, you're still an artist and it's still performance, but it's a kind of niche. Right. Do you know what I mean?
So let me move on to the character you're representing. So you're representing an image of Geri Halliwell. So
my 7-year-old imagination of what I think Geri Halliwell looked like.
Right. So just May Does Geri.
Yeah.
So that's not a direct representation of Geri then?
Not with the makeup. Like, my eyes come down to my cheeks.
Yeah, I've noticed
like the lines, like the cheek lines are big, heavy, bold lines, and the lips are over exaggerated. Like, everything's cartoony because it's the way I see it is it's my imagination of her as a 7-year-old. So if I was drawing her as a 7-year-old,
okay,
that's how I'd have drawn her.
Okay. So
that's why I draw that on my face.
So, okay, so if you can engage with the 7-year-old boy that you were, how much influence does he have on the performances?
Oh, not much.
No?
No. Because the performances can be, depending on what I do, like, I'd say when I do look at me, it's very. That's very That's fairly family safe.
Right. Okay.
Also, when I do It's Raining Men, it's quite lol. It's like, yeah, I'm basically recreating the video. But Machiko Latino isn't. That isn't very family safe.
Right.
But then when I do Spice Girls numbers, like basically any Spice Girls numbers, they're fairly. I don't know. I'm not particularly overtly sexual with what I do.
Right.
Like, I'm not the kind of drag queen that's going to go sit on someone's lap and like start gyrating.
Right.
But I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm family safe.
Right. So what sort of places do you perform at?
Anywhere that will pay me.
Oh, okay.
I do a lot of stuff at Dogs and Superstore. Obviously, I do all the stuff with Sync with Pink. I started doing stuff with the Breakfast Club and the Strictly Come Drag Queens that do stuff there. And in the new year, there's only a month left of this year, but late this year, early next year, I'm going to start doing some stuff with another restaurant around, but it's not announced yet, so I won't say.
So are these all LGBT menus, or?
Yeah, but they're all queer friendly. They're all fairly safe places, or like queer owned, gay owned. Yeah. I do a fair amount of corporate stuff, like businesses that want a drag queen to like walk their visitors up some stairs, and like you kind of lose the heart in it when you do it, but actually sometimes it can be quite funny.
Yeah.
I think as long as you see the humour in doing it, at the end of the day, I'm a boy dressed up as Geri Halliwell, getting paid to whatever, like hand out a drink. Sure, right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have much. It's not much I won't do.
Right.
In drag.
Okay.
There's certain people that I potentially might not work for because if I don't agree with what they do.
Yeah.
But like, I'll pretty much do anything.
Yeah. So
that's a good sales pitch, isn't it? Put that on your podcast. I'll pretty much do anything.
I'll call that as one of the titles.
Yeah.
I'll pretty much do anything.
I'll pretty much do anything. Sometimes there's a paycheck at the end.
So are there any of the corporate gigs you can talk about things?
It's just honestly, it's just hosting things at parties. Like you walk around and you just talk to like people.
Yeah.
Like they literally just get you in to walk around and host, and it's you're there kind of as a court jester. Like, oh my god, look! It's generally a straight crowd as well.
Okay.
So they'll be like, oh my god, you're a drag queen. Oh, is that your real hair? No, you can literally see that there is a line of lace on my forehead. Oh, your eyelashes and your makeup are amazing. Like, who does that for you? Me. Like, how much do you think I'm getting paid for this gig that I can pay for someone to come to my house and do my makeup?
So, like, can we talk about the makeup actually?
Yeah.
So, how do you learn to do the drag makeup?
You've seen my makeup. You don't learn to do it. You just kind of hit your face and hope for the best.
But it's not kind of what I've seen of it. It's not just slap it on and hope for the best. It's quite detailed and it's quite particular.
Yeah, I mean with makeup, I never, like, no one ever told me how to do it. No one ever showed me what to do. So it was very, like, when I started, it was awful. Like, even like a year ago, at the start, like, when people watch the film, the start of it was filmed just over a year ago. I think me and James started doing it about November last year, so it would have been about this time. And
Was that the bed that was on the film?
no, that was my bed upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Or James's. Me and James did a lot at his house
Right.
because the lighting's a lot better. But yeah, so you just kind of pick up bits and bobs with your makeup. Like it used to be really bad. My makeup was really bad.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of learn how to do certain things, and you go, oh, that works. Oh, I'll do that again. Oh, that's a nice product. Oh, I'll get that. And
yeah. But because you kind of do the eyes down for the benefit of the listeners. They're kind of triangles that go.
Yeah, so it's kind of
the nose.
Yeah.
Or
so
alongside the
my
nose.
eyes, I do like a white underneath. That most drag queens will do like a little bit of white in the corner of their eye, like in the tear duct.
Yeah.
And then maybe run it along the waterline, and that will open it up and make it look like you've got bigger eyes. But instead of doing that, I do it along the tear duct and the waterline, and then go probably about another 2 centimeters underneath.
Yeah.
And like I said, the reason why I do that is because it's like a 7-year-old's imagination of drag, not of drag, of Geri Halliwell. Yeah.
So when you're doing drag, how much are you embodying the spirit of Geri as a woman, and how much is it a gay man doing drag?
So I don't like when I'm doing drag. I'm not being a woman. I'm not pretending to be. I am pretending to be a woman. I'm not, but I'm very much of the. I know that I'm not a woman. I could never try to be a woman. But that's me. Also, I don't. When the only time I get kind of funny about what people call me is when I'm in drag. I don't really like to be called her or he, because I'm a bit like, I'm actually not either. At the minute, I kind of sit in a very fluxus no man's land. Like, just call me by my name, just May. I think that, like, obviously as well, when I grew up, like, the kind of experience you had with drag queens, or I guess like cross-dressers on TV, was like on sitcoms where it was done for a joke.
Yeah.
Or like to kind of take the mickey out of the gay boy, like the gay stereotype, like, oh look how feminine so and so is, like kind of, are you being served humour? Very British.
Yeah.
BBC sitcom, safe, kind of Danny LaRue stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I think, like, when I was a kid, like, Lily Savage was, my mum, like, loved Lily Savage. And I always remember her being quite, it was safe. But, like, but safe to the point where she was, like, everyone would know that she was a boy, like, she was a guy, and she never hid it. And, like, the look was very, like, the big hair with the, like, black roots, and it was a little bit naughty and risque. And I think that kind of British seaside kind of postcard humour kind of resonates with what I do a little bit. But it's also not paying too much homage to it, because actually it wasn't PC, and it shouldn't have been. A lot of it was like either homophobic or like transphobic, and actually now when you'd watch it you would realise that, I would hope.
Yeah.
A bit kind of like my drag. I was never very good at it, but I always knew what I was doing and why I was doing it. Yeah, and then when I went to college, straight away I started doing... I never did A-levels or anything like that. So once I left secondary school at 16, that was it for like English, maths and science for me. And then I went to college. I did like various art BTECs and whatever they're called, national diplomas and whatnot. And then when I was 18, it would have been 18 going on 19, I did my foundation, and on my foundation degree it was like we did a little bit of everything. So we did a little bit of fashion, a little bit of graphics, a little bit of fine art, and the only one that really stuck out to me was fine art, to do that. So that's what I did. And then I went to uni, and at uni I didn't really have a medium to work with, because I wasn't ever very good at painting. I wasn't, like, I could draw, but I wasn't an amazing drawer. I couldn't really sculpt because I don't really like getting dirty. So
is there anything that you've taken from your art degree in your drag work?
Yeah, definitely. I think always questioning what I do. So like, I always like to think about what I'm doing a bit before I actually do it. Like, I don't like just hashing out lip sync after lip sync or doing the same. No, I do the same stuff all the time. But I don't know. I like to get feedback a lot. Whether I take it or not is a different matter. But I think you kind of get that embedded in you doing a fine art degree, because everything is, you critique your own work, or you critique it with a tutor, or you do group crits, or you have to show it to people. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily suggest to people to do a fine art degree. Probably a big waste of £12,000.
Right.
But I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if I hadn't have done it. So
Really?
yeah, because it was literally just. The funniest thing is, the whole thing came from one night in a bar, the first week I moved to university, and my friend came to help me move in, and we found a drag bar, a gay bar, literally 5 minutes around the corner from where I lived. So we went there, and it was like a Tuesday night, so it was only a couple of locals, and we were sitting at the bar having a drink, and an older trans lady started talking to us, and she was telling us her story and like how different it was when she was younger and everything like that. And then that, for some reason, her story kind of stuck with me. And when I started at university, we were asked to do like this project, and I made these dolls about gender and LGBT stereotypes and identities and everything like that, and they were kind of based on her story, and that's where Dolly came from, and the rest of it is history.
Wow.
Like, to honest to God, the whole thing, everything I'm doing now, probably stems from that one
From
night
that-
in the
meeting
bar.
that woman.
From meeting that woman in the bar.
It does kind of remind me. You've just reminded me of something in the video about photos and filming of you as a kid dressing up. So even though you met this trans woman and you say that she kind of inspired you to do what you're doing today, it seems like there was still something
Oh god, yeah.
back there that in terms of dressing up and performing and
Yeah.
So what sort of things did you do as a kid?
When I was at play school, like pre-school, it was in the church hall next to the Catholic church where we went to church, and there used to be a box of dressing up clothes and a slide and a Wendy house and all this stuff, and I used to dress up in like the princess dress, and my favourite thing was to go down the slide, and so that was probably baby's first drag.
Baby Pete's first drag.
Yeah. And then actually my mum told me something the other day. I was on the phone to her and I was going to a rehearsal for something, and I was saying how like I had a bit of a cold, and I was like, oh, it's fine, I'll just go anyway, like it'll work out. And she's like, oh yeah, you were like that when you were a kid. There was the what's it called, nativity at school, and everyone else was sick with a cold, and you had a cold as well, but you didn't want to not be on the stage, so you went, and then you ended up doing 2 parts, just because you wanted everyone to see you. And I was like, yeah, that pretty much sounds like me.
So if you hadn't have met this trans woman in the pub near your uni, do you honestly think you wouldn't have gone on to do it? Because it sounds like it's in your blood.
What, being a show off?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So before you met the trans woman in the pub,
go on.
What other things did you do?
I was a printer, so I used to do screen prints.
Right.
I used to do screen prints and etching. So if I didn't meet her, I'd have still done a fine art degree because I was enrolled on it. But I'd probably be working in a t-shirt factory now. Yeah. Like printing other people's designs onto things.
So there was no other way to express your kind of flamboyant nature?
No, I always thought, I don't know,
Was it literally the chance meeting?
I think it was the chance meeting, yeah.
Okay.
Because without meeting her, I wouldn't have made the dolls. And then the dolls sparked something that made me go, I'm going to make these into characters. Because I made them into characters anyway as dolls, and I'd had these little backstories for them. And I was like, oh, these are really interesting. What if they were real people? What if they had photo sets? What if they wrote diaries of their own? What if they turned up randomly in the SU bar? And I think people must have thought I was a weirdo at university, because we used to have this an exhibition space, and I'd just book it out and either just show pictures of me as the dolls or the characters, or dress up as them and sit in there and write. And the masks were made of fabric, so I couldn't even see it. It was like a tiny little eye hole, and you'd be sitting there writing, and I had these gloves with...
Did you see what you were writing?
Barely. I knew what I was writing, but it was very...
Right.
You could barely see it.
Was it what were you writing?
Oh, diaries. It was like, oh, this is what I'm doing, but basically they're stories.
Right. Okay.
I was always into documentation, and I'm nosy, so I like knowing people's backstories.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of where that came from. Yeah. I don't know. I honestly put it down to meeting her. But I guess I was always bound to be a show off one way or another. Like when I was a kid, I always thought I could sing, but I'm completely tone deaf, and I thought I could dance.
Have you never tried to do a performance without lip syncing?
Oh yeah. I've done ones where I sing, but it's like joke singing.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm very aware that I can't sing.
So your main performances are lip syncing.
Lip syncing, hosting. Like, I quite like doing silly things. Silly things to get a reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to get into more, I guess, singing or comedy kind of stuff. But I don't know. I think it's just it will be a growth. The next thing I'm doing actually is Yoga Geri. That's gonna be a film and performances. So
okay.
It actually won't be.
So will it be
thinking?
Will it be similar to the documentary? Will it be a documentary or will it be something else?
It's gonna be something else.
Okay, so a proper narrative story.
Ish.
You're intriguing me, Pete.
Yeah, it's gonna be based on kind of like a workout DVD.
Oh, okay.
Her workout DVDs, obviously. Yeah. But also there's gonna be other elements to it. And that's what I'm working on at the moment.
So I can't remember if you said this on the documentary or in the Q&A after we saw the film. But you were saying that you get quite obsessed with certain things like dieting. So given that you're going on to do Yoga Geri, so that will be part of it. So you will go through the process of dieting, exercising, and
to what extent I don't know yet. But it's gonna be. If I'm doing it, I'm going in full hog.
Right.
So we'll see how it turns out, I guess.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So via quite a circuitous route, not a linear route, but we've gone from you as a child, growing up, finding your identity, showing off, coming out as a young gay man, your fine arts degree, meeting the trans woman, and then going on to discover Just May Does Geri. Can you before we move on, can you just briefly talk about how you got your name?
So my drag name is actually just May. It's just May.
Just May.
But because of the film, whenever there's promo stuff or whatever, it's Just May Does Geri. So the name, my surname's May, anyway. And also my grandma on my mum's side was called May. So when I started doing drag, like as it is now, my name was May. And then I entered a competition once, and someone said to me as I was going on stage, the person introducing me was like, "Oh, what's your name again? What's your name again?" I was like, May, it's just May. And then they said just May. And it's kind of how it stuck.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a stupid name.
It's a brilliant name.
It's just May.
It's just May.
Yeah.
It says it all, doesn't it?
Although sometimes if you say it quickly, people think I'm saying Jess. Like
Just
Jessica.
May.
Hi, my name's Jessica May.
Yeah.
That would be a really bad drag name.
Yeah.
Just a really boring drag name. But yeah, like most of the time people just call me May anyway.
Yeah.
But to be fair, as long as you call me, I'll answer. Call me whatever. Geri, I get a lot. Yeah. Also, like a lot of people just say my actual name when they introduce me. They're like, "I'm Pete May," and I'm like, "It's not my drag name, but sure." And then I walk out in drag, and they're like, "Oh, it's that guy." Yeah. But honestly, I don't care.
Cool.
As long as you call me, as long as you pay me,
yeah,
do what you want.
Okay.
As long as you're nice about it, I don't care. Yeah.
So, just May, and then you're going on to Yoga Geri.
Just May Does Yoga.
Just May Does Yoga.
Yep.
What do you have in the next stage? Do you have any plans?
Yeah. So after the Yoga Geri is going to be quite a long. The next two things are quite long together.
Okay.
So I want to make a stage show of the film that I actually initially set out to make, which will be me tracking down people that Geri knew, finding them and doing brief interviews with them about her. Mm-hmm. Whether or not that is fabricated and actually people who pretend to have known Geri is a different matter.
Well, I noticed in the documentary that you tried to find people, and
yeah. It didn't happen. I think
you met a confused Indian barber as well.
Yeah,
which was brilliant.
Yeah. Who actually that guy's hairdressers was on the corner of the road where Geri lived. And he said that he'd been there for 30 years, and kind of vaguely knew what we were talking about, but didn't quite understand why I was there, or why I was getting changed in his toilet. But he was nice enough and didn't ask any questions, although him and my director exchanged numbers, and he would text him randomly for about a month after, just saying like, "Oh, come for a haircut, like come see me, like this is my other place as well," like really pushing for the business.
Right.
But I want to. I feel like because of the time scale that I gave myself, which was quite small, I didn't get to do exactly what I wanted to with the film.
So this other project is a kind of extension of the documentary.
Yeah. But it will be a mix of like theatre, video, a bit of lip syncing, potentially include other people. Like I want it to be a fairly big, not big, but like fairly well staged thing. And if it works, it works. It means I've got something else that I know what to do. But if it doesn't work, then
it sounds fantastic.
We'll see. The thing is, I realise that what I do has got quite a small. It's got quite a quick expiration date.
I think, looking back at the type of stuff that John Waters did, I know that's very kind of quite niche as well. His stuff, and there's other stuff that you could argue as a short expiration date, but they've lasted in throughout sort of the decades. They're quite they kind of stamp a time and a place and a location and a community. And I haven't seen, obviously you haven't made it yet, but seeing the documentary that you did, I don't know how popular it is or who else knows about it, but I think it's, from what I know about the queer community and the LGBT community, it has a particular meaning and a particular connection.
Yeah.
So in terms of certain parts of the wider community, I think it has more longevity than you're allowing yourself to recognise. I think you know that, don't you? Yeah.
We'll see.
There's more to it.
There's more to it than what there is. I just think I chose to do something Spice Girls at the right time. Because just in the last 3 to 5 years, there's been a lot of nostalgia and people love that kind of throwback 90s thing. And I think because of that, it's just meant that I've been very lucky with what I do.
How popular is it, by the way?
What, the film?
Yeah.
Fairly popular. Everyone that sees it likes it.
For the benefit of the listeners, Pete just had a strange quizzical look where he didn't quite believe what he was saying.
Yeah. For some reason people like it.
It is brilliant. Even as
Thank
a straight man, I just completely got it.
Yeah.
Completely.
I think I don't know. I've been trying since it came out to get it on some kind of platform so that a wider scope of people can see it. But I think it will come. There'll have to be some certain edits, such as I can't potentially say that it's for her that it's due to come out on her birthday anymore, because her birthday would have been and gone by that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully more people will see it soon.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
So to wrap up, how about we go back to the Spice Girls and what girl power means to you as a gay man? Well, I'm putting a stamp on it. Let you talk about it as you.
I think that girl power kind of spoke for itself, because something that they always said was it was about equalisation of the sexes, and I think that really it's not even about that anymore. I think girl power, as much as it is about, empowering females to do whatever they wanted, that's exactly what the Spice Girls were about. Be who you are, do what you want to do, because at the end of the day, no one should judge that. That's kind of what girl power stood for. And even though it had the prefix girl, I think that spoke to me anyway, because really it just meant, you're the next generation. You can do what you want to do. You don't have to conform to this idea of, I don't know, boring old banker. You can be, the crazy, loud ginger one who knows stupid facts that no one cares about, which is exactly what Geri was.
Does girl power call out to your femininity, or do you consider yourself feminine at all?
Oh yeah, I definitely consider myself feminine. Fem lad, that's me. But I think that girl power stood for more than just boys and girls. I think
Right.
it was. I think maybe because I was 7 years old, like it was speaking to me as a next generation. It was like, you can be, or you're the ones to make, the change. You're the ones that can make, like, although I think that on a kind of superficial level it was like, stop the pay gap, stop sexism, stop all of this stuff. It was actually about, we're all born human, like, why are you giving these labels, like, and I think it sounds really stupid, but like, they were the Spice Girls, but they all had their own identity within it, and that made it like, it made it this hodgepodge of things. Like, there was no common ground within it except that they were all Spice.
Yeah.
And I think that that's actually kind of how we should see the world. Like, we've got a common identity as humans, like, but why can't we all be that one-off thing within it? Like, be the Jerry boy Spice, be, the performance podcast guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, whatever, just be who you want to be, and like, don't let it affect you. Like, call it out, but it's not just like straight people that should be questioning themselves. It should be gay people that question themselves and queer people that question themselves. Like, am I doing enough to include, like, straight people should be questioning, am I doing enough to include, like, LGBT, like, other ethnicities, other whatever. But then also gay people need to be questioning, like, am I being exclusive of straight people? Am I being inclusive of, like, the trans community? I think that something that everyone's lacking is sympathy. Like, like, you don't have to, for want of a better word, care, but you can always be sympathetic. Like,
well, I
like,
think the unfortunate thing is that because of our media, because of the kind of dominant class, those issues of sexuality are always put in the negative, so we kind of have to deal with that. We have to think about race relations, we have to think about sexuality, gay rights, rights for women, because they are marginalised, because they are denied.
I think, though, that it's, although we're not potentially there completely, I think that rights for gay people are something that we don't, I mean, under the current situation of, like, the Tories and Trump and everything, it is something you need to worry about, because actually they're not doing anything to support what is already in place, and actually they kind of loom over an area where you're going, oh, actually, are all these rights going to be taken away? But at the same time, I would like to hope that we're in a good place where things could only keep progressing as they are, and because of that, perhaps we need to start considering more things like, okay, so now as the LGBTQ plus community, maybe instead of, like, caring so much for, like, gay rights, we need to be doing things for trans rights, because actually they're getting, like, the shit end of the stick. And
they've been attacked by a lot of feminist circles as well. Which is,
and I think that
just ridiculous.
Does the idea of me having X, Y, and Z rights really affect you? Does it mean that because that trans person is going to have better access to healthcare and be able to do their transition or live their life in a healthier, happier way, does that mean that your kid's not going to get a good education? No, it doesn't.
I think you'll agree, Pete has approached many subjects that are important not just to the LGBT community, but for all of us. I don't think much more is needed than to remind you of the event at Lime Wharf on the 14th of this month, and Just May's performance on the 1st of March at the Glory in East London. The next episode will feature Sebastian, where he makes a distinction between live art and performance art, and much more. Until next time, please take care.
With any trans people that are going through issues at the moment, like, it costs so much for them to do it, and actually that those funds aren't available to them. So if the Tories like take away their access to better healthcare, then they're going to do whatever they can in the least healthy way possible. And that will affect not only them but their families and the people that they work with and the people that care for them. And it's a great big ripple effect with everything. Like, that was such a tangent that I just went on.
No, it's brilliant. I think that's a perfect place to end.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pete.
No, thank you.
Just May.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Perfect.